Welcome to the newest episode of Ronnie 2 Kicks. This one is special because we look back at how connected the sneaker world is to the video game of 2K. We look back at all the important shoes in 2K's history. With the rise of sneaker culture in basketball, and every player thinking about what they are going to wear in the tunnel walk, it's also had a similar rise in video games. We've needed to make sure that we have the most authentic shoes in the game, but we also want to connect to sneaker culture as much as possible, so we've had to integrate physical shoes into our marketing and into our world. So we take it back to NBA 2K8. Our cover athlete at the time, the one and only Chris Paul. It was actually the first 2K that I worked on in my history at 2K. It was important to integrate sneakers for the first time, and so we worked with Brand Jordan and Chris Paul himself to come up with these signature 2K shoes that there were one of 200 on each console. You know what's even crazier is that the old 2K logo is here, 2K Sports. We're no longer 2K Sports, we're 2K in general. And I just thought that was really cool. But there's a lot to like about the shoe. The designs are very gamer-esque, but it's also very clean. If you were lucky enough to snag one of these, they're very hard to find now, but they were the original shoe back in 2K8. Fast forward to NBA 2K14, it became important for us to reward people for the first time with sneakers for their in-game activity. That's where the LeBron NBA 2K14 11s came from, but we were celebrating him as the cover athlete for NBA 2K14. We rewarded a consumer for doing a ton of activities in the game. The first 2014 people got an in-game notification that said that they had won this shoe. The crazy thing about it was there was a silhouette of what the shoe was. Nobody knew actually what they were getting, and this was the end result. This wildly tigerific, very, very loud shoe, but now is kind of the talk of the video game sneaker world. If you look at this shoe, it's very hard to find. It's extremely valuable. There were 2014 of them, but we were kind of ahead of the curve in terms of rewarding people for their in-game activity. Moving ahead to NBA 2K17, our cover athlete Paul George, who I will get the pleasure of speaking to in just a little bit. This was the first shoe that actually integrated 2K on it, and we're going to get to that in a second, but for Paul, this was the first ever PG1. It was important for him to kick off his signature shoe with all the things that he loved. So there's a lot of callouts here. He's a known fisherman, so you see the bob on the tongue and the laces. You see the fish scales all over the shoe. And then, of course, you see his favorite video game, NBA 2K17, in the sole with his own screenshot avatar in the sole. And we're going to talk to Paul in a little bit about what that meant to him and all of these signature features. But, I mean, the PGs are an extremely signature shoe and one that the fans could not do without. The very next year, after the success of launching kind of PG's line, another influential Nike athlete, Kyrie Irving, donned our cover. And it was important, again, to go back to rewarding our consumer for their play in 2K. And one of the big themes of NBA 2K18, of course, the introduction of the neighborhood, but also the road to 99. That was a big, big thing for us. And so the first couple hundred people that reached 99 in the game got these amazing shoes. You get donned an NBA 2K18 logo that celebrated your achievement in the game. And only a couple hundred of these, and only for people that got to 99. These were very hard to get and really were a testament to that grind of getting to a 99. Kyrie Irving is also in the insole with his screenshot avatar. And the crazy thing is he's on the Celtics days after he had been traded from the Cavaliers. If you guys remember, you 2K heads, remember we went crazy trying to change that cover from Cavs to Celtics because that trade happened so late in the offseason. It was a wild ride, and it was a wild ride for this shoe as well. The very next year, another mode in NBA 2K was becoming popular. I'm of course speaking of my team, and LeBron James was back on our cover. And what's amazing about LeBron, obviously, is that unlike very few players in NBA history, he can play any position. And Nike wanted to celebrate that, so they actually released 5 different pairs of shoes that signified him on playing each position. Ultimately, our My Team mode really kind of coalesced with that thing. We partnered with Nike and we partnered with LeBron to come up with the LeBron 1 through 5 shoe. And this one's really beautiful. I've always been a huge fan of what does. You guys have been following my sneaker love over the years. These shoes really stand out. You see some things that are signature to LeBron. But again, this was for my team, the 1 through 5, and it took parts of those 5 shoes because he played parts of 5 positions in the NBA. And finally, NBA 2K20, the Nike Gamer exclusive program, where you had the opportunity to earn up to 10 shoes based on your in-game activity. And the very first one was this LeBron 17. You probably saw it. He wore it a bunch at the beginning of the season. And of course, it's got 2K on the tongue. It's also got 2K20 in the insole. And it's, you know, that Lakers purple and one of his favorite shoes that he wore over the season. But just one of the 10 Nike Gamer exclusives that rewarded a lot of behavior in the game. There were 20 of these. There were a lot of 2K shoes over the course of this last year. And it was all due to the Nike Gamer exclusive program, which has totally innovated the sneaker game. And now we can look forward to future 2Ks and what may come as far as the sneaker culture being connected to our game. So there you have it, sneaker culture and 2K joined at the hip. I thought it was very important to speak to somebody who thought about that connection just the same way we did. Of course, I'm speaking of NBA 2K17 cover athlete and the guy that introduced his line with a 2K shoe, the one and only Paul George. PG, how are you?
I'm good, my brother. I'm good.
Hey, man. Thanks for taking the time. So let's talk about the shoes. Walk me through it, because it was the first ever PG shoe, and it was all your, you know, like the things that you loved the most. It was about fishing. It was about video games. Talk about that first PG one.
Yeah, the first PG one is just special for so many reasons. Obviously, it's the birth of, you know, my sneaker collection. But it just being so genuine and so authentic, you know, I wanted to just tie, at that moment, it was tying everything that meant a lot to me and everything that was just real to me. So, you know, when you discussed it, you know, we had the bobber on the shoe tie. We had essentially scales on the outer sole or the, you know, mid sole of the shoe. And then on the inside of the shoe, on the shoe liner, is a print of myself in the 2K17, you know, a game, a cartoon version of me. So it was so dope. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know it was going to come out so dope and be so loved among, you know, consumers. To this day, it's probably one of, you know, it's
the one everybody looks back
favorite
at.
shoe out there. Yeah, because it started, you know, again, it started my whole line, and it started it off with a bang.
Yeah, yes, sir. Why was it important for you to have that 2K avatar in the sole of the shoe?
It was important for a lot of reasons. You know, to me, it was an accomplishment, right? Because, you know, I've grown up loving 2K. I've been a part of the franchise before I was officially a part of the franchise as a kid. So for me, it was an accomplishment. So when I look at that shoe, it's like, wow, I'm a cover athlete, so why not put that in my sneaker? You know, so it was almost paying homage and having a reflection and just seeing where I've been and where I'm at. It was kind of like that cross between where I'm at and where I've taken it. So when it was a chance to even collab with you guys, it was a dream come true. It's best of both worlds.
What are your thoughts on like how important gaming is in terms of releasing shoes to that consumer?
I think it's really important, and I think the way the world is now, everything is like digital now. So I think it's even more important, and 2K is a driving force, I feel like, in the sneaker world, and just in the culture world, because now like it's dope, not even from sneakers, but just from apparel. Like I was blown away that the Marathon clothing was on the neighborhood. I think it's again, it's awesome, because you're bringing in this digital world where guys can dress up their avatars and have swag with their avatars, and then it's like, hey, all right, that looks dope. Like I want the real shoe now. Like I want to purchase the real thing now. Like it just draws. It's a streamline between the consumers and people that's in that space. It's just a streamline between the two.
Hey man, I appreciate the time so much.
Appreciate it.
Paul George, my latest guest on Ronnie 2 Kicks. It's now time to rate these shoes. Here we go, 0 to 99. Let's figure it out. So, kicking it off with the OG originals, the NBA 2K8 Chris Pauls. Very clean, white with the red and black, the old 2K Sports logo. I'm going to give these an 84. Moving ahead to NBA 2K14, the LeBron 11s. These are wild. They're very exclusive. They're very hard to find. I love my tiger print, so I'm going to give these a 91. We just spoke with him. Paul George's introduction to the sneaker line with Nike, the PG1s, the original PG1s that feature him in the insole. This one is so nice. I love this shoe. I'm going to give this a 92. Next up, Kyrie Irving and the NBA 2K18s that rewarded you on the road to 99. I love the confetti and I love the writing on the outside. These are extremely solid. I'm also going to give these a 92. The LeBron 1 through 5s, the LeBron 16s, the What Does. I've always been a big fan of the What Does. I'm going to give these an 89. And last but not least, the Nike Gamer exclusive 2K20s with 2K on the tongue. I gotta love that. Clean purple for the Lakers. LeBron wore these a ton. I'm gonna give these an 87. Well, 2K heads, I hope you guys enjoyed the trip down memory lane. I know I did. Obviously, like I said, the 2K8s were the first game that I worked on, and to look back at all these sneakers over the course of time and how people earned them, I really, really enjoyed taking that trip down memory lane. Hopefully you guys did too. Hopefully you guys understood the ratings and agreed with them. Tell me where I missed, tell me where I got them, and tell me if you're still holding on these shoes, because I'm telling you what, people are looking for them, and I'm going to see you next time for some more Ronnie 2 Kicks.